you're a day trader, you're day trading stocks, or really Forex options, futures, whatever, but you're having problems. How can you fix it? Is there anything you can do? And yeah, there is a strategy that's relatively quick and easy to implement, which of course does not guarantee you're gonna be able to fix everything. But I'll put it this way, it really tilts the odds in your favor of giving yourself a much more realistic chance of finding some success and eliminating any sort of problems and struggles that you may be having. And right off the get-go, I wanna just show you an actual little data chart, I'll call it, that was submitted to me by a member, which kind of spurred the idea here because in communicating with this member, it's nothing new, it's nothing that I haven't heard of before, but just to see it so visually really does, it's kind of one of those things that go, that's interesting that the data chart all of a sudden began to behave in a much different manner at one certain point. So I'm gonna put that up on the screen right now, and I'll just give you some brief thoughts on it. So you can see it's the performance by month, and the first month this person traded, you can see actually had some success with the blue bar, and then reality showed up, and the next 3 months, red, and then even bigger red. And then the next month, very, you have to look closely, tiny red, and then the next month, nice and blue once again. So I'm trying to do my best to mimic what we just looked at right there, and I want to walk you through pretty much the background. And again, this is the person. In fact, I guess you could really pause the video and you could read down below that image because this is what the member had to say. But also just in getting to know the member through the community I offer, I do a little bit more background too. But the point here being that I know the parts of the phase. I know, like I said, the background context behind all this all. And if you're being honest with yourself, I'm sure this could sound very familiar to you. I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. If you're not familiar, I do offer a podcast, the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, if you want to look it up on iTunes or whatever. But point here being, I've interviewed well over 250 people, and I've heard these things come up over and over again. But the first part of this journey, so right here, which does include that right there, is what I like to call the free sea. The free sea of what? Well, the free sea of information. Social media, blogs, YouTube, all sorts of gamuts, all sorts of information coming at you, and all, to be fair, free. To also be fair, some of it good information. But to also be realistic, some of it is bad information. But the point here being, this stage was all sorts of free information. They are out there swimming in the sea of free. I'll figure it out on my own. Why would I invest into myself? Why would I pay for anything? It's all just out there. It's out there for free. I can get a book at the library or whatever. And what happens a lot of times, which happened to me, which happens to, like I said, a whole lot, is notice how his first month was actually green. What we like to call fool's gold, right? Where you think you got it all figured out. I mean, have you ever been there before? Where you make a couple good trades and you're like, hey, okay, all right, I'm doing great. You're thinking, and to be fair, that's a rational thought to have. I mean, if you're having a green month, why would you think, I'm terrible at this, I don't know what I'm doing? No, it's rational to think that you know what's going on. But then not usually, it will always show up. It's just really a matter of how long. But look what happened next. The next 3 months, down. And this is again with using the free information. And the problem with the free information is, like I said, yeah, there is a lot of bad information, but I'll give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'll say that somehow, even though when you're new, when you don't know what you don't know, part of that includes not knowing what would be good or bad information to begin with. But let's just say somehow you're able to actually pluck out all the bits of good information. There's still one massive problem though. When it comes to structure, when it comes to order, okay, first learn this, then learn that, then learn that. There's just none of that, right? There is no structure. If you're looking to learn about math, and let's say you pluck out all the good bits of math, but then you're learning about algebra before you're learning about addition, and then you're learning about calculus before you're learning about even how to do any sort of trigonometry. I mean, it can get a mess. It can get a mess in a hurry if you're not learning about things in the right way. So that's what was going on here. He was out, Clay, I was out there, and I feel like I was being tugged and pulled in every single way. It was very overwhelming. And, it just felt like I was almost drowning in this immense amount of information, which again, some of it is good information, some of it is bad, but even if it's all good information, it's still very easy to get overwhelmed because of a lack of structure. And this next part, I get it. Oh, Clay, I see what you're saying. But I am saying it, but not necessarily towards me. If you feel better with somebody else, if you feel more comfortable with somebody else's teaching style, then please go with them. I want you to do what you feel most comfortable with. But my point here is, you know what? What changed? What all of a sudden? I mean, think about this. Things were spinning out of control. I mean, red, even bigger red. And then all of a sudden right here, small red. What happened right here? Structure. And what do I mean by structure? Well, he invested into the program that I have called the Trading Freedom Pathway Program. And again, I'm not turning this into a sales pitch for that. I'm just trying to get across the fact that he actually made an investment into himself. He, dare I say, paid some money for some education, brought structure to his life, had good information, and not only that, all that good information formulated, structured, organized in a comprehensive, in a logical way, in an order that would make more sense, right? Sequence matters. And just like that, look at that. Now, am I saying that if you get my education, then poof, you're making all kinds of money? That's not what I'm saying at all. I mean, he got my education, he started learning, and he still lost money. But the big difference here is very clearly he began to learn about and do what actually matters most: manage risk. He learned about how to identify trade plans, how to put together logical, rational trade plans, control risk in the way that it should be controlled, manage the trade in the way a trade should be managed. And all of a sudden, all right, so he still lost money, but check that out. Next month, all of a sudden, he's in the green. Now, am I saying that it's going to be green from here on out? Of course not. Nobody can guarantee success. Nobody can guarantee that you're always going to be making money. All I'm saying is, isn't that bizarre? Isn't that weird? And a lot of people can relate to this, where when you're doing all the free stuff, it just is red, maybe small green, and then big red, maybe, and you feel all over the place. You feel like you're being stretched. And then just like that, when you bring some structure into your life, whether that's through my training or through somebody else's, again, whatever you feel more comfortable with, that's what I want you to do. But I am trying to encourage you to bring some structure into your trading. And yeah, sometimes it's going to require money. And I am a full believer in this. In fact, I'll put a video down below. When I got into real estate investing, I spent just under $5,000 to learn, because I don't want to go through the free sea of real estate education, especially when real estate, I mean, you're talking about buying houses, right? That's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of digits. So, and after going through the free sea of trading, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I want structure. So this is me, preaching something that not only do I believe in, I've put my money where my mouth is too. I totally invested into my real estate trading before I ever, got into any of that. And it's paid off over and over and over again in that regard. So I just want to share this. What is a quick fix? The quick fix is this word right here: structure. Bring structure. It very, very quickly, it's a very easy solution just to bring in some structure. Now, I'm not saying it's easy in the sense of you might feel some pain in your pocketbook, but it's a very easy decision to make. You know what? I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to bring structure into my life. And with that, you're those problems are like, oh, that's why it's such a problem, because I'm missing this, that, and the other thing. And things are going to clear up very, very quickly. So consider structure. Consider bringing some organization to your trading. And as this data shows, and as data over and over again shows, again, don't take my word for it. Just go listen to my podcast. Start at episode 1, and you'll see this is a very, very common theme, where not necessarily people buy my program, but people just introduce structure into their lives, into their trading, and then things all of a sudden, they just start to improve. They start to get better. So consider structure, and I'm very confident it would make a big difference in your trading and your results. Now, if you enjoyed the video, very quickly, hit that like button, comments, questions, suggestions. I do read all of those, so please leave those down below the video. Then also check out the channel as a whole, lots of other videos. And if you like what you see enough, I really hope you decide to hit that subscribe button, as I'd love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. But yeah, get out there and please consider bringing some structure to your understanding of the markets. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.